so sad in today's world that you have people working 30, 40 years and they're still stressed out because they don't have any savings to show for, because they're literally living paycheck to paycheck. And they're in their late 50s and 60s, and in some cases they have to keep working and working long hours despite their physical condition sometimes not up to par, because they literally have no choice. I mean, with groceries or rent being so high these days, people cannot afford to pay these prices, and their wages have not kept up. And so many Americans don't have any enough savings for retirement, so they get so scared and they're not able to retire. So you end up in a situation where people just keep on working and they're so stressed out. They want to retire, but they can't afford to do it, and they have to worry whether they get laid off from their work. Keep watching this video. Keep watching this video.
Now we're starting to see people starting to say to themselves, yo, the hell with this. I'm not spending my money on anything else anymore. I'm stacking. And when they saying that, I went over a couple pages, and I was just seeing, like, is this a real thing? And I realized it really is. But you know what struck me? I didn't realize I already was doing it. I realized I was doing it a couple months ago. It's just that they're now making a name for it. They're saying we're spending no money. I forgot what they call it, rebellion. Rebellion on not spending money at all. At just all your necessities of just food and, you know what I mean, and the things that you need to get by. But other than that, they're not buying products and whatnot. And I get it. I kind of chilled off of buying certain items and a bunch of things. And it's sad because I think we at the place now where as though they done cripple so many people's livelihood of just trying to see a future in retirement. Retirement don't even feel reachable no more. Retirement look like a damn joke. Retirement look like something that you can't even make it to. That's if you don't mess around and get sick, catch cancer. Like, cancer running rampant out here today. You got people catching heart attacks. Motherfucker can't even make it to 40 without catching a heart attack. I thank God that I'm at my age now. But we at a point now where as though you're starting to see so many people go through this. And it's sad because we at a point now where as though people can't even see their life going far no more, because it's like, dog, they so stressed. They so they so embargoed with so many bills, their livelihood seems to be taken away from them.
Okay, so here she says she can't retire till she's 67. I will probably wind up working till I'm 67 as well. My plan was to retire at 62. I'll be 62 in November. And then it was like 65, but I'm on TikTok. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the earning limit is completely gone at age 67, whereas there's an earning limit at 65. So if I'm still, if TikTok is still a lucrative business for me in 3 years, or 60, 3 years, then I will continue working until I'm 67, where there is no earning limit. So I hear you. I hear you. It's crazy. And it's just the insurance part of it that is just ridiculous. So hang in there. We'll get.
You know what no one tells you about retiring early? They don't warn you about the weird stuff. Not the money spreadsheets, not the what about benefits conversations, not are you sure looks. I'm talking about the quiet surprises. The ones that sneak up on you while you're standing in your kitchen, in your bathrobe, at 10:30 in the morning on a Tuesday, and you're wondering why you're tired and you've done absolutely nothing. Because retiring early doesn't feel like crossing a finish line. It feels more like wandering into a room where the lights are a little bit dimmer and the noise is gone and nobody is telling you what you're supposed to be doing next. And you're standing there thinking, okay, now what? Today I want to talk about the biggest surprises of early retirement for me, and the ones that nobody puts into the glossy brochures, And I want to be completely honest with you and maybe add a little humor to it, because if we can't laugh at this stage in our life, what are we even doing? So, surprise number one. Here's what I thought would happen when I retired early. I thought I'd get up early and suddenly I'd be energized, motivated, and completely organized. Maybe even do some yoga at sunrise. What actually happened? Some days I woke up feeling like I could reorganize the house, film a video, go for a long walk, and cook something pretty ambitious for me. And other days, I needed a nap right after getting dressed. And not because I was lazy, but because for the first time in decades, my body was finally allowed to speak. No alarm clock overriding it, no kids pulling at for your attention, and no meetings forcing you to do anything. Retirement doesn't give you more energy. It gives you honest energy. And honest energy is unpredictable. Some days it whispers, and some days it disappears altogether. Some days it shows up at 9 p.m. when you're already in your pajamas thinking, where were you at noon? This is when you realize your body has spent years running on adrenaline and obligation. Now it's recalibrating, and recalibration looks suspiciously like resting, walking, staring out the window, doing one thing a day and calling it enough. Which brings me to the most uncomfortable surprise. Surprise number two. On paper, retiring early made sense. The numbers worked. The pension was there, no debt, no panic, and yet I'd stand in a store holding something small, nothing extravagant, and think, do I need this or do I just want this? Because when you stop earning money, money stops being, I'll just make more. Instead, it becomes, that's coming from what I already have. And no one prepares you for how emotional that feels. You start measuring money in strange units, months, years, future comfort, what if scenarios. Not because you're irresponsible, but because your nervous system isn't caught up with the math yet. You realize early retirement isn't about trusting your spreadsheet. It's about trusting yourself. And that takes time. Surprise number three. For years, maybe even decades, we were told, find your purpose, stay productive, make sure it's meaningful, leave a legacy. And then you retire early and you think, okay, where did I put my purpose? And for a while, quietly, something shifts. You stop asking, what am I meant to do? And start asking, how do I want to feel? Peace becomes more attractive than ambition. Enough becomes more comforting than more. Quiet feels richer than busier ever did. And this is the part that nobody talks about because it doesn't sell well.
Welcome to another episode of the Comments and Moment. Want to retire and can't retire. You know, I talked to a guy, been on the job 48 years. 40, he ain't had but one job. Been on it for 48 years. 48 years. Right out of high school, got the job, and been on that same job for 48 years. So me and him talking, probably a couple of years ago we talked. He told me, "Brown, I'm going to do about 3 more. Then I'm coming on out." I said, "Yeah." He said, "I got to tighten up some loose ends and everything, you know, get some bills paid off and everything, but I'm coming on out then." I said, "Okay." So I started smiling. He said, "What's wrong?" I said, "Come here for a minute." "Yeah, stay here beside me." He said, "Okay." Now, if for 48 years you've been trying to get across that street and you ain't got across there, you want me to believe that you can make it in 5 more though. You can do it in 48, but if you get 3 to 5 more years, you can make it across that street. That's what you want me to believe? Yeah. Let me tell y'all something to watch my video. Now, this ain't 100%, but I'll say it's in the high 80s. If you ain't got nothing by the time you get 60 years old, you ain't gonna get it. You just ain't gonna get it. You know, and you know what hurts me? People that I know that's still working, that could retire, but can't retire because the grown children done moved back home with the babies, the grandchildren, running up the light bill, the water bill, ain't working in a pie shop, and y'all don't want to see them outdoors, so you let them come back home. So let me get an understanding. I saw a lady working at this restaurant, feet swole. I'm looking at her. Don't say it, Brown. I said, I ain't gonna say it. You ain't gotta worry about it, I ain't gonna say it. I'm sorry to see your feet swole, though. Ankle swole. You can't go home and rest. You know, 4 or 5 years ago, you had a good man. You were doing good. But he told you he can't put up with them grown children. So you made a decision to get rid of him. And now you out there working, feet swole, sick, and they home in the nice warmth of the house where you got to get out here and walk to work. You can't even get a ride to work. That's right. I remember meeting a lady. We went out on a date, and she told me she had to call an Uber driver to take her to work every morning. I asked her, I said, well, didn't you tell me your son and daughter stay with you? Yeah, didn't you tell me they got a car? Yeah, but they don't like for me to wake them up in the morning. Check. Can I get the check? Ain't no need to go no farther. But I'm going to tell y'all something here. When you done live, God done bless you. Think about it now. God bless you to be on a job for 40 years. You know what that say about you? You ain't been sick enough to lose your job. You ain't been locked up in jail or nothing. You had a salary for 40 straight years. And if you had saved $100 a month, which is $25 a week, that's $1,200 a year times 40. You had some money. Huh? Just $100. And he made good money. But he can't retire. You know. We don't think that we're going to get old. See, we live in, the favorite thing that they be saying, the famous words that everybody be saying around, tomorrow ain't promised to you. That's true. That is true. But boy, when tomorrow come and you ain't prepared, now look at you. If you on a job that you love, you want to keep going, that's on you. Hey, that's what you want to do, that you love that job, then keep going. But I'm talking about those who want to come home and can't come home because of all the decisions they made during their lives. You know. And other people is the reason why you can't come home. That's sad. Other people, you can't retire because of people that you are 30, 40 years older, young and healthy, they ain't doing shit. Yeah. It's sad, y'all, but it's a lot of people out here. It's a lot of y'all walking around looking at this video that could retire, want to retire, but can't retire. And that's sad. And guess what? It's only going to get worse. Now that you women want you, a lot of you women, and see, a lot of you women don't understand. A lot of y'all can't be entrepreneurs and all of that. There's a whole lot of women out here that's going to be alone and had to fight it alone. Is I'm right or is I'm wrong?
I truly never understand people when they say, well, if I was retired, I would just be bored at home anyway. What do you mean? I already have a whole week planned out. Monday, I'm rotting, watching shows, whatever. Tuesday, clean. Wednesday, hobbies, coloring, reading, painting, maybe pick up a new hobby. Thursday, bebop around town, run some errands, maybe grab lunch, whatever. Friday's a combination of all those things, and then it's the weekend. How could you be bored? What a much better way to live your life than going to work.
How do it make you feel knowing that for the last 25 or 30 years that you actually paid into Social Security just to find out the last 10 years before you actually retire and you're able to draw your pension, retirement, or Social Security, they hit you with you can't retire until you're another 10 years older. For instance, it goes from 62 to age 72. And that's what's going on right now. A lot of people who work their whole entire life thought that they were going to be retiring next year at the age of 62, and they found out that they can't retire until they're 72. How many of you guys know someone who's actually made it to 72 years old? Come on, man. They know people don't live that long. Some people live that long, some people don't. That means they know that they don't have to pay that money. Now, if you guys don't know what Social Security is, for those of you who work a regular job every single day, the next time that you get your check stub, pay close attention to the notations on your check stub. You will see Social Security on there. They take out 35, 40 bucks a week. Depends on how you get paid every week, every other week. That money that they take out, that's not free money. That money is building into your Social Security. It's separate from your 401k, your medical plans. That's your Social Security. It means if you were to get hurt midway through your work career and you were to say like sustain a bad injury at work, you would be able to start drawing because you actually paid into Social Security. But if you don't never get injured and you work that 30 to 40 years at that job, whatever they require, how many years on the job? 30 years, I think, 35 years. Means if you don't get hurt, you don't have to draw early. That means you're eligible for all that money after you retire for the rest of your life, which would be like in monthly installments. But now that the game is changing, they're making it to where you can't retire until you almost 72 years old. That's wild, man. That's how you know the signs of the times are changing. We switch presidents every 4 years. It's kind of crazy. That's why I kind of can understand why Russia had the same exact president for 20-something years, Vladimir Putin, because you don't have different presidents coming in every 4 to 8 year terms, changing the rules, changing the way things are supposed to be. So I think when it comes to retirement and Social Security, man, it's a joke. We are all going to be working until our last breath, until our last day on earth. There is no such thing as retirement in 2025, man. How many people do y'all know that's retiring right now? I mean, successfully retiring. A lot of those people who's retired has to take on a second job to supplement their income. Not because of they didn't save enough money. It's because of the cost of living, man. They making it hard for even people to even retire. What about the people who work their whole life, 40, 50 years, can't walk, don't have arms, arthritis? They don't care, man. The government is a fucking joke, bro. It's a joke.
Yeah, I retired twice, but I still work part-time
Why?
because I own a boat.
Am I the only one who is mentally checked out of working? And I know this sounds crazy, but I don't feel like working anymore. And I'm not even anything close to retirement age. I just feel like waking up, you know, having time for myself and, just take care of myself, get enough sleep. It's been a crazy season for me work wise, where I am working late on Friday. Even on Saturdays, I have to still open up my laptop because I have projects that probably due on Monday. And as I get to Sunday, I feel this anxiety. Does anyone feel this way?
It is really messed up, y'all, how there are so many people out here that work hard and have worked their entire lives and they still cannot retire. And it is not because they were reckless with their money, y'all, but because all they were ever taught to do was to save, how to depend on these pensions and these 401ks. And so now they're hitting their 50s and their 60s, and they're realizing that there is barely enough money in there for them to even survive. And that is why I started my money mentorship, so that you can get the clarity that you need before that becomes your story. So if you haven't signed up yet, check out the link in my bio.
It's so hard being in like those next few years after college, because like you try so hard. Like I just got laid off in January, and it was a layoff. He cut off like half the company because financials weren't right. Like his financials weren't right, so he couldn't hold it anymore. So yeah, and then like I keep applying to places, and they either say I'm overqualified or not qualified enough, and like I'm trying so hard, and it doesn't matter. It feels like it doesn't matter. Like it really is just like, it doesn't matter what your resume looks like. It doesn't like people try to tell you like, oh, if you do this with your resume it'll be better. If you try doing this with your resume it'll be better. And it's obvious that it's like just up to that person that day. Like, do they want to hire you? Probably not.
I feel pretty honored. Thomas Bishop, who's a big creator on here, just asked me to be on his radio show to talk about the struggles that we're all facing financially and not being able to save. So I'm looking forward to that and sharing that after that happens. But yeah, we all need to be concerned, and you all need to be concerned as younger Americans. It is very easy to have a good job and end up in my predicament at my age, which is 59, where you don't have any savings to retire, and it's a struggle to pay bills. And considering that a bag of chips is as much as an hour minimum wage pay is pretty messed up. But anyway, we all have to, think about solutions, and solutions aren't billionaires running our government for sure. But the government.
I got paid $9.49 and my bills equal $9.74. So I literally work to pay my bills. I never have money for groceries, barely. Sometimes maybe $90 if I'm lucky. I'm gonna have to go to the food pantry again, which is fine. I'm really blessed to have access to that. But I just wish that work meant something. Like, I wish I had enough. Like, I don't even have enough to cover my bills. So now I can only pay half of my power bill. Hopefully they don't want to freaking shut it off on me. Like, people talking about get a different job, it doesn't just work like that. I get 10 hours of sick a month and 10 hours of annual. My daughter has health conditions, and I constantly have to be out of work. If I worked any other job, I'd be fired because I would have already taken 7 days off. They fire you if you need more time off because we're economic slaves. We work for this economy, but this economy doesn't work for us. Most of us are old, retired, living off of disability and security, complaining about not having enough. That's the American dream. All of us living off of the government, upset? Yeah, okay. And I don't get assistance because they say I make too much. I definitely made too much this check. I have enough for the groceries and then some, huh? Like, if I could just skip my bills, I'd have enough money to go get my car taken care of. Like, fuck the bills, let me just go freaking get my oil changed, my tires rotated, my brakes done, my alignment fixed, my steering column fixed. Like, that would be great. Especially because my car eats 2 quarts of oil every 500 miles. So I have to constantly put oil in it because I was scammed from my car dealership. I was like, just wanting to get groceries this check, honestly.
Are you as broke as me? If your refrigerator is stocked up and your pantry is stocked up, you're not living paycheck to paycheck, I want you to tell me in the comments what you're doing. Like, share all your secrets and tips with me, because let me just show y'all how broke we are. Here we go. No orders. Don't do it. I need to clean out my refrigerator. I know. No, nothing. Little bit down there, y'all. Like when I tell y'all, we have nothing. I mean, like, my husband is going to die when he sees this video. Like, do you know how crappy it makes me feel when my kid tells me, Mama, we have no more chips, and I can't send chips with them to lunch? Like, tell me how long, please. How are people making it these days? Medical bills are eating me alive. And let's not even talk about debt. Like, how are you doing it?
It's been 2 months since I've been laid off. I'm still figuring out what I'm doing. I've got this freelance gig to keep me busy, making my own content, doing some UGC. I haven't checked my LinkedIn messages, but I know there's a bunch of emails I need to get back to from recruiters on some jobs. But honestly, the thought of looking through those emails and looking at these job postings and thinking about doing technical interviews for a software developer position is giving me major anxiety. So I think that is a sign saying that I should not go back to being a full-time software developer. I don't know. I just go back and forth about it because it's this stable income. But I'm going to go work at another company where I'm going to be disposable again, and then they're just going to fire me because they did another restructuring. So, time to go build my own empire.
I was on TikTok, my For You page, a woman popped up and she was like, me and my husband make $150,000 a year. A lot, right? Well, to me, that's a lot. And she's like, we live paycheck to paycheck. And I'm like, wait, in my head, I'm like, we live paycheck to paycheck. You make $150,000. How are you living paycheck to paycheck? And she was just saying, like, even if you make more, you still live paycheck to paycheck. And now I'm in my brain like, so we're trying to grind to make all this money, but we're still going to live paycheck to paycheck? Like, that's what she's making me think. And I don't want to believe that's true, but is that technically true? She's like, I have a house, I have 2 cars, I do this and this with my kids, but we still live paycheck to paycheck. And I'm like, is there even a point of trying to grind? Like, is there a point where you're just like catching the money, but you still live paycheck to paycheck? Like, it's like a circle. It would be never ending. And I'm just like, for people that actually make $150,000, do you live paycheck to paycheck? Is that true? Because I don't want to believe it's true.
Financial experts say you're not supposed to be spending more than 30% of your income on rent. So if you're thinking about getting your own apartment, let me remind you that if you make $20 an hour, it means that you can't spend more than about $960, no more than $1,000 concrete flat on rent. And the fees, the amenities, the valet, $1,000. 2 things. Average young adult in this generation, in this economy, don't even make $20 an hour. And if they do make 20 or above, it's on the lower scale of 21 to 22. And they're fighting with all their might to hit the 24, 25 range. Average apartment, a 1-bedroom, 1-bath shed, is costing people $1,500 a month, if not more. Nobody wants to hear me out, but I am telling you, with that information right there alone, there's no other option but to get your hustle up. I'm not talking about investing in all these little hustles and that just keep you busy and steal your time, but you ain't making no money. You need to get to some real money out here to survive. And it's getting to the point to where it used to be back in the day where when you go to cities like Atlanta, you know what I'm saying, New York, that's where the hustle got to come out. You know what I'm saying? It's a different type of living. Chicago. Now, almost just about every city is requiring a different type of hustle these days. You got to be able to get to that bag.
This probably saw this video today saying that the unemployment claims unexpectedly rose last week to 231,000, and I chuckled a little bit because who in the world thinks that that's unexpected? I've been creating career content on here for 3 or 4 years, and when I first started creating career content, there were careers, there were jobs. And then last year I was like, hey guys, it's feeling like there's no jobs. And like all the career coaches and people who get paid to tell you that there are jobs because they want your money were like, no, you're wrong, you're being negative. I would post on LinkedIn all the time. I haven't posted on LinkedIn in probably 6 months because there's genuinely just nothing I can share on there anymore. and every time I do share something, I sound really negative and I sound like a conspiracy theorist, and I'm not. I can see this pattern that's happening, and there's no way you think there are jobs out there. This 231,000 of unemployment claims does not even count like the 100,000 jobs that were just cut in January, because a lot of those people from the companies like UPS, Amazon, some of those people still haven't even been laid off. And even if they are laid off, they have a severance. So that means they're still not putting in unemployment claims. Is the term unexpectedly to use that when we've been talking about these layoffs since like 2023, and then they kept happening in 2024, and then they still kept happening in 2025. And here we are in the beginning of 2026, and there are already 100,000 jobs, people laid off. It's not unexpected. This is literally planned. Like, this is what they planned on this. So you're telling me that the same companies who've been doing layoffs, like Amazon was one of the companies that announced thousands of layoffs in January, y'all been doing layoffs since 2023 and you still haven't learned how to like hire correctly? Before it was that y'all overhired. That y'all aren't overhiring anymore. So what is it? Because I know y'all are still making money.